Hello everyone, and g'day from Australia. My name is Rowan Cobcroft, and I'm the Director of the Geological Survey of South Australia within the Department for Energy and Mining, and I'll be overseeing today's session. I'm also presenting on behalf of Alex Blood, the Executive Director of our Mineral Resources team. Thank you for joining this session, where we'll be looking at the topic of best practice sustainable exploration in Australia. Let me begin our first session with a big thank you to Panorama Minera for inviting us to be part of this international virtual event. With the impressive way the organisers have pulled this event together, you have ensured that we are not separated by latitude or attitude. South Australia has much in common with Argentina. We are great places to wine, mine and dine. This virtual expo is a great way to share our approach to enhancing a sophisticated and modern exploration sector. And so, onto the session. Over the next half an hour, you'll be hearing from 3 speakers, myself included. The initiatives we will discuss look at how government is working with industry in fresh and dynamic ways to achieve new ways of doing things. South Australia is ripe with innovators and companies embracing new opportunities. We're joining together to grow these opportunities, enhance productivity and solve problems. We have 2 exciting speakers from our partnerships, Holly Bridgewater from Unearthed and Tamron Barker from the Core Innovation Hub. Our aim today is that you'll learn something from the approach we have taken and that you will share and spark ideas that can create drive to your sector. We welcome your interest. First, I'll set the scene for today's session, for what's happening in South Australia and how we are working with partners. South Australia is a vibrant place for geologists and innovators. By design, we are also encouraging a fusion of ideas that come together from diverse disciplines. Because of our partners, SA has developed one of the world's most sustainable and technologically advanced mining sectors. But first, we acknowledge 2020. This year has been a year like no other, where the importance of partnerships through our supply chain has become a priority. The sector has risen to the challenge to look after its workforce. During the earliest COVID-19 response, the sector adapted to the highest standards, adopting government's approach to managing risk. By taking care of what matters most, the people, the sector has ultimately built goodwill, enabling the sector to continue operations without interruptions. During 2019 and into 2020, the sector even managed to achieve the highest production sales value in a decade. Government supports efforts to encourage the sector on the path forward, so my job today is to share our initiatives and partnerships that we have in place. To introduce you to our mission, the overarching intent of our Department for Energy and Mining fits very well with the theme of today's session for sustainable, innovative exploration. Established 2 years ago, the Department's vision is twofold: to deliver affordable, reliable and secure energy supplies, and to responsibly unlock the value offered by our mineral wealth. This week, our government has launched our energy and mining strategy to our community and businesses in South Australia. It is a confident statement in our future. We're at the right place and the right time in an era where the world is looking for responsibly sourced minerals, and our efforts will be supported by this strategy. Partnerships will be central to our success. I lead the amazing Geological Survey of South Australia, and our department is the lead regulator and policy setter for exploration and mining matters in South Australia. All of us recognise the increasing interest in climate change. South Australia has amongst the world's highest penetration of wind and solar in the world, with over half of the state's power delivered through renewable energy sources on a trajectory towards 100% in the 2030s. An early adopter of clean technologies and the world's first largest grid-scale storage battery, we are at the intersection of those minerals needed for new lifestyle energy solutions, where we have attracted world's leaders looking for these responsibly sourced minerals. Mining is a huge part of our economy, representing 8% of our economic output. South Australian opportunities include copper, uranium, critical and specialty minerals, which are part of the foundation we all need to support decarbonising economies and to be part of the gig economy, which leads to driving new technology, new energy solutions, driving cleaner steel production, and to sustain our global ceramics and fibre optics sectors. Our mineral and petroleum exports represent close to 40% of the state's exports, with copper the leading commodity exported. The field of exploration can be challenging. Whilst we know the potential for economic minerals is out there, finding them in the vast covered areas of South Australia, and indeed Australia, requires sophisticated approaches, deep thinking, testing and analysis of diverse data sets. As everyone agrees, drilling is expensive, and so current and evolving technology and approaches offer the opportunity for explorers to better zero in on potential drill targets, increasing their chances of success. The Geological Survey of South Australia plays a prime role in supporting private mineral exploration companies through cutting-edge geoscientific data that reduces risk and improves the chances of finding valuable needles in geological haystacks. We are leaders in a number of fields. One is the discipline of magnetotellurics, which is a ground-up way of identifying prospective terrains for conductive minerals rather than adopting a drill-first approach. If you'd like to learn more, our department has produced a set of brilliant videos that are available on YouTube that expand on various aspects of this work. In all the work of our survey, we have vital long-term collaborations nationally and worldwide where we share this expertise. The MINEX CRC is a 10-year initiative dedicated to the long-term challenge for sustainable exploration. Our survey creates a great foundation for discovery. It is the private sector that puts runs on the board in making discoveries, proving up resources and creating the mines of tomorrow. South Australia has led the way in co-funded discovery initiatives to encourage this, having established Australia's first co-funded drilling program. But times have changed and we need a new approach, and now we've created a new program called the Accelerated Discovery Initiative, which is ripe for 2020. This initiative is up and running with the first round of successful applicants and 14 dynamic projects that display a heavy emphasis on new technologies, scientific endeavour and collaboration to boost discovery and reduce risk for exploration. We are very pleased with how this has shaken up the status quo, creating new exploration workflows, and we'll be putting out a call for the second round before the end of this year. The Accelerated Discovery Initiative, we believe, is among the most contemporary programs of its type in the world. The design reflects the changing opportunities and drivers in exploration, the need for innovation, and also servicing the needs of our local and Aboriginal communities. The ADI scope is varied and offers support to factors including logistics in frontier, remote and greenfield areas of the state. Our state is vast and remote and possesses some significant physical challenges to exploration. There are large areas of the state that are unexplored. Building our understanding of the state and encouraging activity in these areas is a key part of the ADI. The ADI supports collaborative innovation and technologies aimed at generating new exploration ideas and testing key concepts. Data, downhole sensors, laser, and even the application of coiled tube drill rigs are examples of rapidly evolving and expanding opportunities for new ways to collect, transfer, and interrogate information during or after drilling, or even new ways to drill holes. Advancing these technologies aligns with our approach to grow our engineering and technology sector. The innovation supports geophysics to test new concepts as well. South Australia is a leader in geophysical approaches to look through this cover in remote parts of South Australia. We have been delighted that many of the successful programs in Round 1 have attracted collaborations between universities and international explorers, bringing proof of concept studies to transform mineral exploration. Aboriginal skills and employment during exploration is also supported in this initiative. As a key stakeholder in all our activities on country and traditional custodians of the land, the ADI will provide support to increase Aboriginal employment and training so they too can be part of the exploration workforce and businesses, expanding the social contribution of exploration activities. The initiative recognises the importance of the state's regional communities by targeting remote groundwater resources that are so vital in regional areas. South Australia is increasingly becoming a centre for innovation in space, defence, machine learning and minerals. In South Australia, we are activating our strengths in research, excellence and collaboration to reinvigorate how we do things. The mining, technology and equipment sector is an incredibly important contributor to mineral discovery as well as economic growth. The sector contributes $92 billion to Australia's economy and is growing at 7% year on year. The Australian met sector exports over $15 billion of products and services to every corner of the globe and invests $4 billion in research and development. During the year, our government committed to the Core Innovation Hub as a public-private foundation partnership supported with the government's Economic Benefit, Business and Growth Fund, which our final speaker will cover today. We are finding new ways to connect industry to innovators and scale technologies to grow local industry and exports in the big data era. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to introduce Holly Bridgewater. Holly trained as an exploration geologist and is the Open Innovation Lead at Unearthed and an advocate for industry adoption of open data initiatives. Holly works with teams across the mining industry to identify and articulate problems that require an innovative solution and sources solutions from a globally distributed network of talent experts. She works to leverage the power of startups, developers, and data scientists to make energy and resources industry more efficient and sustainable. Today, Holly will share her work with us on the largest ever government-led open data competition, Explore SA, the Gawler Challenge. The Gawler Challenge, supported by our government's Economic and Business Growth Fund, has exceeded our wildest expectations. The Gawler Creighton covers a third of South Australia and is prospective for a wide range of commodities. We chose this region because we have recently completed highly significant geoscience projects in the area and have a fantastic collection of high quality data and significant open file information. Through the challenge, great minds have seen and investigated the enormous tranches of this information. This unique global open source competition has tapped into the best thinking, helping to find new frontiers for mineral discovery. And to tell us more, we welcome Holly.
Hi everyone, thanks very much for having me. It's an honour to speak to you here today. My name is Holly Bridgewater and I'm the Principal for Industry Engagement at Unearth. Today I'm going to be talking to you about Explore SA, the Gawler Challenge, a case study on how the public sector can use open innovation initiatives to drive growth and economic development. So what is Explore SA, the Gawler Challenge? Explore SA was the largest ever open data competition to be run by a government. It was run by the Government of South Australia's Department for Energy and Mining in 2000 from March to July. The challenge had a $250,000 prize pool to incentivise people to take part. The challenge was for people from all around the globe to look through the extensive publicly available datasets available in South Australia to try and come up with new targets for economic mineralisation in the Gawler Craton. So what is the background to Explore SA and what's the opportunity the challenge was taking on? As we know, finding mineral deposits is extremely challenging and discovery rates are decreasing. But we do have public datasets available to us, and many of these are considerably large. We also have access to increasing amounts of compute power and connectivity, and this is enabling data science and geologists to leverage new techniques like machine learning and artificial intelligence. Could a government leverage this opportunity to apply machine learning and artificial intelligence innovations to open up undiscovered mineral wealth or accelerate exploration and innovation in South Australia by supporting the ability of explorers to increase the accuracy of their potential drill targeting? So why would an open innovation approach be used to take on this opportunity? Open innovation has been demonstrated in the private sector to demonstrate results, particularly in the areas of generating novel ideas and approaches to challenges that we face. For example, in 2019, Oz Minerals, a South Australian-based exploration and mining company, ran the $1 million Explorer Challenge. This generated hundreds of new targets and also accelerated the understanding of how to apply machine learning within Oz Minerals' business. It also created and supported the development of new businesses, particularly in the areas of data science, to support the mining industry. The learnings from this competition showed the significant potential for governments to use a similar means to attract explorers and investors by leaping ahead with innovative assessment of data to identify potential targets, and this could attract global innovators and businesses and help South Australia take a lead in innovation. So what were the goals of the Explore SA initiative? A number of goals were set out to help inform the design of the challenge. These were to stimulate exploration activity and increase discovery rates through publicly available outputs, to attract and support local, national and global businesses, particularly in the fields of data science, and to increase the sector's understanding in the applications of advanced analytics approaches such as machine learning to exploration. These goals influenced the design of the challenge, particularly things like how the challenge statement should be framed and put forward to the public? What incentives and prize structures should be put forward to encourage people to take part? What would we ask people to submit for the challenge, and how would these submissions be judged and assessed? Also, how would the public be able to access and engage with results and use them in their exploration strategies? And finally, what communication strategies would we use to ensure that we engage participants to take part in the challenge and also explain the benefits to the exploration and investment communities? So what were the results of Explore SA? As I said before, Explore SA was the largest ever government-run open data challenge with a $250,000 Australian dollar prize pool. Over 2,200 people participated in the challenge from over 90 countries, so this truly was a global initiative. These people practiced in the fields of data science, geology, and mathematics, to name a few, and these individuals formed multidisciplinary teams to take on the challenge, enabling them to bring ideas and approaches from multiple different angles and experiences. 59 quality submissions were received for the challenge. All of the data from the challenge, including the targets that were generated and the workflows and methodologies that were used to generate these targets, are all now available to the public via the government website. The judges of the challenge were particularly impressed at the overall high caliber of the technical approaches used, and particularly how participants had combined novel techniques such as machine learning with traditional geological approaches to successfully identify potential economic targets for mineralization. So what are the results in terms of economic development? Even though the challenge has only recently closed, with the winners being announced in September this year, there are a number of trends that we're already seeing. Firstly, in an innovation sense, the challenge has really helped the whole exploration sector level up in their knowledge and understanding of how to apply machine learning applications. From the challenge, all those 59 workflows, each applying some form of machine learning, are now available to the exploration community to use and pull them into their own workflows. The challenge also will result in the growth of the mining services sector. As an example, from last year's Explorer Challenge, we know that at least 3 new businesses in the area of data science were created and are now servicing the mining sector. We expect to see the same from Explore SA over the coming months and look forward to sharing more of these stories. We're also seeing already evidence in the area of investment and exploration activity. We are seeing a number of tenements acquired by explorers off the back of the results generated from Explore SA, and we're also seeing partnerships and commercial relationships built between explorers and data science businesses that took part in the challenge to help drive these exploration initiatives. So if you were to consider applying this approach elsewhere, there are a number of things to bear in mind to create success. Firstly, what does success look like for your initiative, and what are your goals? Consider what are you asking people to do, and make sure that your challenge statement is clear. Consider how you will incentivize people to get involved in your challenge. This could be prize money, but it could also be recognition and learning opportunities, which are also significant incentives. Consider which people you want to take part in your challenge. Also, how would you reach them, and how will you convince them to take part? The messaging that you use here is crucial. And finally, how will you assess the outcomes, and how will you enable your communities to use them, and how will you promote them? Considering all these factors should help you execute a successful open innovation initiative. Explore SA is a great case study and has demonstrated that this workflow can be applied in both the public and private sectors to create significant outcomes. Thank you very much for hosting me today. If you'd like to find out any more information, please contact me at holly.unearth.solutions, and have a great day. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Holly. We will continue to reap the rewards from integrating new data and ideas into new exploration programs. By engaging with the brightest minds, the scale and level of interest in this competition has sped up the integration of new data and the ways to utilise this. It has also produced new workflows and approaches we've not seen before in this state. We have the makings of a new marketplace, connecting data scientists to explorers and supporting the growing and innovative data science and enterprise sector. The learnings from our agency highlight the importance of a data-first approach to present, manage and properly process large volumes of data. Buoyed by the success of this competition, the state government has invested a further $5 billion from the Economic and Business Growth Fund. This will leverage the success of the Gawler Challenge for further mineral system mapping. It goes forward, partnering with a number of participants to further investigate results to develop and test new models, ideas and exploration targets. It's my pleasure now to introduce our final speaker, Tamron Barker. Tamron is the co-founder of Core Innovation Hub, Australia's first dedicated ecosystem to leverage Australia's strengths in resources and energy to grow enterprises for the future. Tamron has held diplomatic and technical roles on large-scale international collaborative projects involving trade, IP rights, information and technology and communication initiatives for the European Commission in Brussels, European Union in Beijing, and European Patent Office for over 10 years. She has also worked on a number of priority initiatives out of Western Australia, including the Square Kilometre Array Radio Telescope Project, data science and other innovation projects. South Australia has become a centre of excellence and the government has committed to the Core Innovation Hub as a public-private partnership. The work we are doing in exploration ties in nicely with high technology, artificial intelligence, machine learning and defence. The Core Innovation Hub resides at Lot 14 along our city boulevard, with a satellite site at Tonsley that will connect mining technology services with the nation's best technology disruptors. Tamron will share this and how it will encourage the flow of ideas between people immersed in machine learning, space, integrated solutions, cybersecurity, defence, automation, software, advanced manufacturing, and the resources and energy sector. We are looking for the core innovation to bring people together, making them aware of the challenges, fledgling companies, and enable them to be introduced to bigger companies. Over to you, Tamron.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tamron Barker. I am one of the founders of Core Innovation Hub and the lead for our core skills portfolio. It's really my pleasure to be with you today, and it's a great honour to be a part of this panel to talk all things innovation in the mining sector and the opportunities and challenges that we probably share across this great Southern Hemisphere. So thanks very much for the opportunity. So as I said, I'm within Core Innovation Hub. We have founded a space dedicated to the resources and energy sector to really help power new enterprise into that space. And by new enterprise, we mean new opportunities to solve the sector's challenges, be that through startups, scale-ups, or collaboration opportunities. So we've worked very much to create the hub model that works to bring industry together, to create proximity to industry for innovators. Really comes through a lens, through a culture of entrepreneurship, and it's very much driven by seeking solutions to industry challenges. So we work very much under the pillar of community, culture and capability. So that's all I wanted to say about the hub, but it was really to give a sense of the direction that we're coming when we talk about capability, the third C there. So what I'm interested to talk to you today about briefly is innovating in the skills space. It's terrific that we've got new capability, new technologies, but how are we actually ensuring that there are pathways for the people who will be adopting those, who will be deploying them, who will be working with them and interfacing with them. So from our point of view, we've been trying to think what is a way that we can approach the upskilling space to ensure that we've got a really, really sound background to innovate, basically. So where our goal here really is to prepare organisations to be Industry 4.0 ready and to be able to be ready to take on those challenges and opportunities. So what I wanted to do today was to take you through some of our key learnings over the past 12 months and what our journey of innovating in the skills space has looked like. And it's a work in progress, but it's an honour to be able to share some of the findings with you. So we focus very much on how we could actually ensure what we call embedding capability, this concept of embedding capability. When you look at typical skills programs or courses around data science, machine learning, all the digital capability. We were seeing a lack of being able to apply it immediately in an industry context. So for us, it was very important in terms of providing upskilling programs to be able to demonstrate that this capability would be embedded within the organisation. So what we mean by that is taking on skills, taking on new ways of doing things, new tools, but being able to apply it to an own business challenge and in the process be able to solve and add value to your business. And we do that by partnering with top educators. So this is really we started with data science as being the kind of the most ubiquitous of the capabilities, data being across organisations and being an increasingly valuable asset and resource. So for us, we started with data science and how we could create new pathways to upskill in this space. It was very much focused on what we call domain expertise. I've referred at the beginning to, we were hearing, really a lot of rhetoric around the plant of the future, the peopleless mind of the future. But for us, the message around what will this mean for our people? How will they be taken on that journey? How will they be a part of actually pioneering that journey and taking the business in new directions? So for us, it was very much around focusing on building this capability on top of domain expertise. So we really focused in the first instance on engineers and engineering capability within a business and how that could be upskilled, moving away from the concept of just having data science experts looking at the challenges of the business, but really how do you bring your domain experts up to be able to solve some of those challenges themselves. So one of the first and early pathways we came up with was a 15-day toolkit program, basically, for engineers, and it was very much around how do you emerge with a toolkit that can allow you to do things in a different way. Not to be a data scientist, but to be able to have a toolkit and access to that and practice. So for us, the problem was very much around taking this domain expertise and making the most of it. And we found within the process of this embedding capability mechanism we have, which is applying skills to a known problem and really working week on week over on that project. We call them capstone projects. By the end of the first cohort, 8 engineers had identified something like 200 to 300 million of value in their cluster of projects alone. So in terms of productivity gains, cost savings, and for us this was really like, okay, wow. This is quite impressive that in a relatively short period of time we can work together to identify solutions that are actually really being able to be deployed back into the business. The deployment is another step, but the opportunity to be able to do that is very important. So if we can do this with one pathway, and I use the term pathway in the sense of with one kind of program, one kind of engagement, just say with engineers, which is a small cohort of an operator or a miner. The workforce consists of multiple roles. So this is really quite a niche lens to look at. So if we could do that with just a few engineers, what if we were to scale these pathways? What if we were to look at the needs of maintainers or controllers? So really at different levels across the business, what are their capability needs? How can we provide a pathway to support and grow their value? So that was really the sort of the problem and the opportunity for us. So continuing with these engineering upskilling pathways, the engineer to data science toolkit pathways, but really in the back of our minds, how could we actually make this a more substantial opportunity and impact more on the business? This was really just to give you a couple of just a taste of the kinds of projects that we were looking at in this model, in this pathway. And the early impact that one of the mining partners benefited from by having their engineers participate in building up this data science toolkit. So there was really this theme of giving back time to our engineers. One project in particular was very much around not here's a here's a major cost saving here, but here is a time saving. So here you will get 10 weeks back of data analysis effort with the adoption of this new classification model. So this really resonated in the sense of think of all the time that you could spend on other priority projects if by having just a simple new classification model, by having being able to deploy some new skills, data science skills, you could save 10 weeks of data analysis effort. And the timing of this giving back time to the engineers also coincided with the annual mine planning. So it was really crunch time. So the benefits of getting that time back was even more appreciated. A second example project was predicting the recovery time of train failure. So using a regression model and with the problem of having an average of 7 breakdowns a day. This is we're talking now in Western Australia of one particular train. 7 breakdowns a day, average of 31 minutes a day. Looking at, I don't know, I think if I recall, it was $2,000 a minute. If you look at being able to minimise the impact of these failure events and actually smooth them over, it was a really significant gain in productivity. And a third example I'd like to share is the strengthening predictive capability, obviously. So that's one of the great gains of machine learning. But one of the engineers came up with a regression model that predicts weights and volumes and was able to prevent a significant amount of lost rail capacity. So these are the themes of one particular cohort, but it's really just to impress on you that these are relatively small in scope because this pathway was quite small, but in terms of being able to have quite high impact and potential value back to the business, it's quite significant. So for us, this was really still ticking over how do we continue this innovation journey in the skill space and make it more broadly available to the sector. So for us, we moved then to what we call, we're looking at in terms of data is the org. Every organisation in our mind is a data organisation, and if that's the case, that means that every role has a role to play in the data space. So moving away from just data science as a specific realm, at what point do the different roles impact upon how data is inputted, aggregated, and then obviously manipulated? But every role has some impact on this, and so we're anticipating that everybody at some point is going to be able to have some competency if they don't already, and they're not even aware of that. But from our point of view, this includes skills and behaviours. So in order to ensure what we're calling data fitness, how do you ensure that you're fit enough to consider yourself a data-driven organisation? It's necessary to be able to map, assess, and improve this capability across the organisation. So this is where our thinking has taken us in terms of innovating in the skill space. So we've been looking at existing models, and for us the most obvious one, and the authors of this particular model actually live in Perth, Western Australia, so we have close proximity to them and access to them, is a model that comes out of the safety space. So I think we've been really drawing the analogy between fitness to operate in the safety sense and fitness to be a data-driven organisation, and understanding that safety has had decades of attention and evolution, and data is still learning. So approaching your business as a data-driven business most companies are still in their early stages. So for us, this model is providing a real conceptual framework for how we look at skills and capability, but importantly how we look at behaviour. And what we mean by that is the way in which people will engage and interact in their roles, not necessarily that they've just got a list of skill sets. So it's this behavioural piece that we haven't seen in other skills frameworks, and we're really wanting to bring to the fore. So for us, the solution has been we're currently engaged in a process now of talking to industry to identify what a data fitness framework could look like and what a model would look like, and our intention is to make this available to industry to be able to use more broadly, and then to be able to draw insights into what kinds of new pathways and new upskilling efforts are required. So for us, this is very much an opportunity to improve the way the sector as a whole can assess and improve its skills capability. And we're excited to be able to be a part of contributing to this thinking. So delighted to take any questions and look forward to speaking to you further. Thank you very much.
Thanks to Tamara and Holly for their insights and presentations. What we are doing is creating new ways to pool human capital and forge new connections that in turn create new entrepreneurial partnerships and speed up the take-up of new technologies. Tamara has highlighted the power of domain expertise and the value of embedding capabilities to grow and expand our equipment, technology and services sector. I hope our audiences walk away from this session inspired from the approach we have taken to meet industry opportunities and challenges of the 4.0 era. Collaboration is at the heart of innovation across the mineral exploration value chain. The mix of data science, geology coming together with world-leading expertise presents us a great opportunity for our mineral exploration sector. Thanks again to both our speakers. And thank you to the audience. We welcome your interest in any of our topics. And here's some ways you can stay in touch with us.